This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. It says, Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turn it upside down, and scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury. And this is an example of usury. Let's take a look at the video.
Turn now to Money Talks, what consumers and investors need to know from the business world and beyond. States across the country are now demanding many Americans who received unemployment benefits give that money back. In some cases, tens of thousands of dollars. And it's shaping up to be a multi-billion-dollar mess. Dasha Burns has a story.
Here we go.
Michelle Gallagher was shocked when Connecticut sent her a bill for more than $20,000.
I couldn't believe it.
The single mom and small business owner applied for and got unemployment benefits back in April 2020 after the pandemic shuttered her bridal shop.
How important was that money?
It was very important because I had to provide for myself and my 2 children and pay the bills.
But now the state of Connecticut wants $23,328 back.
Are you able to pay that back?
Oh, God, no. How can they ask that back? Because they made a mistake. I don't understand it.
And it's not just Connecticut. Millions of Americans across the country could be in the same boat. About $794 billion have been handed out in combined state and federal unemployment assistance since the start of the pandemic. Cash for Americans like Michelle, who never before had qualified for unemployment.
States put together new programs in a couple of weeks.
But in the rush to get dollars out the door, states and applicants made mistakes.
So what has happened over the last year is states have had to course correct, and they've had to go back to claimants and say, which one of these reasons were you unemployed for each week that you were unemployed? And so if claimants didn't answer those questions, they'll get a notice in the mail that they were overpaid for those weeks.
Overpayments are common in unemployment programs, but the volume of applications during the pandemic has created a huge backlog.
There are millions and millions of people in the backlog right now, and it's terrifying.
So mistakes that used to be caught quickly.
So what would normally take a few weeks
is taking a year or over a year.
Attorney Nadine Nevins helps unemployment recipients in Connecticut navigate the complicated appeals process. But most Americans don't have this kind of legal assistance and could face wage garnishments and more.
I think people are going to give up, and they're going to have this overpayment, and their tax refund is going to be intercepted.
Like Michelle are now finding that a lifeline has turned into an anchor.
You said when you first got that unemployment, it's money you needed, you viewed it as a blessing. Mm-hmm. How do you view it now?
As a curse. If I didn't have that money, I wouldn't be sitting here now worried about paying it back.
Kal halal, la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Kadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to the apostles, elders, and men of Great Millstone. Out here on the highways, byways, and hedges, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Amariah back with another one. And what you have here is a report on the current status in Babylon. All you people who were receiving unemployment through the pandemic, after the shutdowns, you went to your government for help, right? And now they are requesting that you pay back this money. And to me, it's just dessert for those who really honestly don't seek the wisdom and understanding that is provided by Yahweh Yahweh Shai and his words, which are written in this book. Before we begin, let me just grab a verse. This is Proverbs chapter 22, And verse 7, it says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Now, what does this mean? All of you people who were out here not working during the pandemic, and I certainly understand they shut down a lot of businesses. It was not necessarily your fault. However, what is your fault is not having faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that faith is what I leaned on during these times. It was not easy. I had to continue to go to work because I work for myself. I had to find ways around the current status quo in Babylon. And that meant leaning on Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai. And for those of you who don't know, Yahweh is whom you ignorantly call God, and Yahweh Shai is whom you ignorantly call Jesus. So I was leaning on them this entire time and not needing that I should borrow from anyone, call halal la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So the sin that the people were committing, in my humble opinion, is putting their faith in a system instead of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And you people didn't seek the Lord. You went to your local governments looking for a handout. And as we can see, that serpent has now come back to bite you right in the behind. They're requesting that these people pay back the sums of thousands of dollars. And that's only the beginning of your woes. Wage garnishments, you have now become a slave to your lender, which is why we began in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor. But no one can rule over you if your secret hiding place is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You must trust in the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and he will keep you in the times of trouble. Those of us in the truth, that's what we do daily. We lean upon the Lord. And for those of you who didn't know that this was Egypt, pull out a dollar bill out of your pocket and just look on the back. You will clearly see this is Egypt. This is Isaiah chapter 36 and verse 6. It says, lo, thou, meaning you, trusteth in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. I don't feel any sympathy for this lady in the report or anyone else in her shoes, because you put your faith into a system that belongs to Satan. Satan is the god of this world. All these systems set in place, and system means pit. All these pitfalls for you were set in place that you may be ruled over and conquered in this land of Babylon. You cannot put your faith in these systems. They were not designed for your betterment. As a matter of fact, all these systems were designed to put heavy curses upon the children of Israel. You Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, and you speckled birds. There's no way out of this unless you return unto your power. And your power is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That is their names. Now that you have seen the report, there's not much more we can say about it. So let's just get a couple more scriptures on the matter and close out on this. And no, again, I do not feel sorry for anyone who went and got unemployment checks, because their end was to if they filled it out fraudulently, if you did anything wrong, hell, if you didn't do anything wrong, their goal was always to put that heavy yoke of iron on your neck afterwards. Now, this is Ecclesiastes or Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, Salakia, or Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 8. It says, he or she that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. Now take a breath. Huh? Which is why you shouldn't put your trust in a system. Which is why you shouldn't be looking to borrow anything. Because at the end of the day, it is like gathering stones for your tomb to be buried. And let's get another one to end out on. This is Ecclesiasticus, Salakia. I do that a lot. Chapter 28. 29, Salakia. Verse 28. These things are grievous to a man of understanding. The upbraiding of a house room, and the reproaching of the lender. It is a reproach to have someone lend to you, because nothing in life is free. There's not a damn thing you can get in this world that is free. This world is owned by Satan. I once told this to a colleague of mine, which is why I don't borrow from people in any way, shape, or form at this point in my life and previous to it. Because one might give you something, but they always expect something in return. That's what I've learned about this terrible world. There's nothing in life free but the love of Yahweh Yahweh Shai to those who love him. And in that love, I have found a safe place with Yahweh Yahweh Shai, where he has kept me afloat. Not only has he kept me afloat, he has increased me so I do not have to borrow anything from anyone. Call halal la Yahweh ba Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is a time for you people to take notice on the system of Babylon, how they get down. And there's more to come. We're at the end of days, the last seconds of the last days, and they're going to use these debts on people as a way of manipulating them into a way that they want them to go. Woe be to you who trust in the staff of this broken reed. Shalom.